The top stories of the week here on RT International. Britain's Muslim community is left split over Prime Minister Cameron's speech on tackling extremism, all amid fears the UK's youth is becoming more susceptible to jihadist propaganda. Radicals packing the streets of the Ukrainian capital, calling for an armed revolution and the scrapping of the Minsk peace deal. And the Iranian nuclear saga did not end with a landmark agreement in Vienna. The US Congress is threatening to torpedo the deal despite the hard work from the Obama administration. The week's top worldwide headlines live on RT International. Welcome to The Weekly. I'm Rory Souchet. In what became a highly debated speech earlier this week, the British Prime Minister David Cameron admitted that some UK minorities are becoming a target for a charm offensive launched by groups like Islamic State.
There are people born and raised in this country who don't really identify with Britain and who feel little or no attachment to other people here. So when groups like ISIL seek to rally our young people to their poisonous cause, it can offer them a sense of belonging that they can lack here at home.
Well, latest statistics do indeed support the concerns reiterated by David Cameron. One UK MP warned last month that at least 1,500 Britons have joined the terrorists in Iraq and Syria, and British intelligence now estimating up to 300 have already returned home. So how does Cameron plan to tackle the worrying trend? Well, parents concerned that their children are involved with radicalism abroad will be allowed to cancel their passports. On the information battlefield, communications regulator Ofcom will now have new censorship powers, while internet companies are being pushed to help the government ID potential terrorists online. But anti-war activist Chris Nineham thinks Britain's support of certain groups in the Middle East has truly been a contributing factor to the current situation.
They're now arguing we should fight on the opposite side to the one they wanted us to fight in back in 2013. And although, by and large, they didn't, get involved in a massive military operation or a offensive operation, they did arm the opposition. They did have diplomatic relations with have all sorts of connections with the opposition and encourage the opposition. And it's precisely that opposition, which is now led essentially by jihadi groups, that we're now being asked to counter. So, I mean, the madness of British foreign policy is there plainly for all to see.
Well, despite concerns of young people in Britain being potentially susceptible to jihadist ideologies, Cameron said the country has successfully integrated people of different backgrounds into society.
Over generations, we have built something extraordinary in Britain, a successful, multiracial, multi-faith democracy. It's open, diverse and welcoming, and these characteristics are now as British as queuing and talking about the weather.
Well, last year alone, British security forces spent £1 million policing Islamist hate rallies. That figure does not include other demonstrations, one of which was a neo-Nazi protest just 2 weeks ago in London. And British Muslim commentator Mohammed Ansar explained how he feels an atmosphere of hatred is being fueled.
David Cameron was pointing the finger at Muslims community and saying you are responsible for not being more forward, for not being more progressive and not being more outspoken, and this is almost tacit complicity with some of the extremist views. It is an incredibly divisive speech. I think Muslim communities are saying we are working really, really hard. Although I have to say, for once, on a personal basis, I'm quite happy with the speech. I think the positive messages about Muslims being integrated in British society, they're vital messages.
The British Muslim community has had, well, should we say, mixed reactions following the Prime Minister's speech. For many, it only highlighted the alienation they feel in society. Others pointed out the address was symptomatic of the atmosphere of mistrust in the UK. However, some Muslims did agree with the general message to ultimately exterminate extremism.